Good morning, art historians. Happy Monday. This is your weekly summary video for week number 2 of our 8-week course. So, of course, the last videos were quite lengthy. I had a lot of sort of general things to cover in regards to the assignments and sort of the step-by-step processes for how to do those assignments within this course itself. So, this week I'm going to start out reviewing our 2 quizzes. I've got about 3 multiple choice questions to go over. I want to bring up some really great posts from our discussion, and then I just have a few reminders. So let's get started. So for week 2, we are looking at quiz 2, which was on Mesopotamia 1 as well as number 2. So something that I wanted to cover, again, these are multiple choice questions that I just noticed some people had marked incorrectly, and I just want to clarify as to why the right answer is the right answer. First, we have what was the symbolic meaning behind the images of a king killing lions, as seen in the relief narrative of Ashurbanipal. So first, I wouldn't necessarily say that the king had a rivalry with the lions. That's not necessarily a really realistic, I guess, relationship that would often be shown in these types of imagery from this part of the world. I will admit there are some texts from different other places around the world, like within the Islamic culture. The Shahnameh, the Persian Book of Kings, often shows warriors battling against local animal enemies. But in this case, the king did not necessarily have a rivalry with a whole type of animal. And it's not a rivalry per se that would even really warrant a grand narrative of artwork. As we know, this time period and this group of people in particular were focused on conquering and over who they are ruling. So, also, if one of the answers is that the kings love felines, he probably wouldn't be killing them. So I don't think that would be right. And now, while the king certainly did want his might to be known, I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a duality represented here. If there was an image of like this one where he is killing these lions, also paired with one demonstrating political strength or, calmness in, his ruling practices, societal relationships, diplomacy, then we'd really see more of this duality that last answer is suggesting. So, as a result, it is exemplifying how the king would keep his city safe. And then we move on to another question. Which of the following construction techniques were not seen at the White Temple and Ziggurat of Ur? So the tripartite plan, the bitumen, and buttressing are all actually major reasons why the White Temple and Ziggurat was able to both stand for as long as they did. Of course, I know they look like a big pile of mud right now, but I mean the fact that it stood at all is pretty great. Mud bricks are not necessarily the most durable, especially when you combine them with water, and they are a little bit less brick and a little bit more mud. Unfortunately, we're not really gonna see this hypostyle hall energy until we get to like really the ancient Egyptian era, middle newish kingdom, and so that hypostyle hall construction would definitely be the technique not seen within that White Temple upon the Ziggurat of Ur. And then we have a second quiz for this week, which was quiz number 3, Mesopotamia 3 and Egypt number 1. And so this is asking about the seated scribe. So which of the following features of the Old Kingdom's seated scribe is unlike the usual idealism? And so before we consider this question, one thing, of course, you need to know is what idealism is. It really indicates the perfection of features to match the trending beauty standards of the time frame in which the representation was created. So, for example, with our other choices, having rock crystals for eyes might be true of the sculpture, but it doesn't necessarily fit within the Egyptian idealism standard. And sure, the figure is absolutely holding papyrus and most likely a writing utensil or instrument, but it doesn't really speak to figural idealism either. And yes, of course, the figure is certainly seated on the ground, which is unusual and maybe indicates a sense of or a reference to a rank in society, but it's not the perfection by which these facial and bodily features were represented stylistically. So the wrinkles and the lack of a six-pack would really be the response that references idealism specifically and in the best way. So that is why that answer would have been correct. Now, in our discussion, I want to give a little shout out to all of you. It's such fantastic work. I personally love the opportunity to, or at least, the encouragement to look at artwork for a little bit longer. spending time just staring at something can really reveal quite a lot, which, as I can see from a lot of your posts, certainly did. And for those that chose to even read an article of some sort, I really appreciate the way you were so well able to summarize all the results, discuss the argument that was being posed, and really give suggestions and critique in a very scholarly and mature way. So great job right off the bat with our discussion. And I just want to bring up a few little quotes from some of you. Hopefully I'll get to feature all of you in these videos before the end of the semester. I will do my best. But I wanted to mention that there was a great job noticing details for the standard of So Christian had wrote that with the creation of written language, advances in agriculture, including the domestication of certain animal species, these Sumerians must have been seen as awe-inspiring and formidable, this force to be reckoned with. And their ability to trade with different cultures existing in Iran and India. Certain stones were used for the standard, only found in these said regions. This speaks really quite volumes to their advancement in one of the greatest and earliest civilizations to be known and studied. So Christian, great work. I mean, I rarely think this far beyond the object in front of me. You're really encouraging me to kind of open my horizons and consider each culture that belongs to the art item as a whole and how their existence was really flourishing and what they were able to accomplish outside of just the direct imagery of the narrative on the actual standard itself. It's not just battle that you're discussing here, it's all of their advancements and why this society would have been so formidable to an enemy, especially in battle, knowing what they bring to the table. So I thought that was such an outstanding job. Rodrigo, you also mentioned that the postures of the captives really provoked empathy for their suffering. I mean, that is a really small detail, and that's something that really gives us an emotional sort of content. It speaks volumes to the effect of how different characters in the narrative are represented, and the fact, Rodrigo, that you pointed that out is outstanding. And then last but not least, Maddie, you mentioned that the craziest thing was that each person looked totally different from all the others, and that you actually really focused on trying to find two people on this work that looked the same, but you truly couldn't find anything, that each individual has something different, and even though they may look similar, they're so unique, and just wow. The fact you spent so much time in your attempt to solve this question is exactly what you should be doing with this particular assignment. It reminds me of Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, this comment, this notice that you called it to attention. No two figures are the same on that either. So it's really amazing how unique each character is. It's individual. I mean, how cool is it? We see evidence of this talent from ancient Near East and Sumerian times all the way to the Renaissance. I mean, that's awesome. So great job, folks, on that discussion. Make sure that we are posting every single week for that. And last but not least, I have two reminders for you. So first of all, you all completed a writing assignment this week. I'm working on going through and grading those. Those are usually the only things that I will not have graded by the end of the day on Monday. So give me a second and I will get to all of that. If you notice any grades that have not been filled in so far, definitely check out my comments to see if there's any kind of correcting or things that we need to work on. So, and back to the writing assignment, really great job on this, folks. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the interactivity of this online virtual experience through a Egyptian queen's tomb. I love these types of things. I personally end up Google mapping quite often. I walk around monuments constantly with Google Maps in my classroom. When we get to our units in Southeast Asia, we walk around the Taj Mahal and Borobudur. I have pictures of Angkor Wat, but from my experience, which is amazing, but I also walk around that. You can walk through the catacombs of Priscilla as well, which is a subterranean space in Rome. Google Maps has a lot of really awesome opportunity, especially Google Arts and Culture as well. So, this is a pretty cool opportunity. So now looking forward, week 3 is a break for the writing assignments, but week 4 has another writing assignment as well as a midterm. So I'm going to open week 4 as soon as I can, hopefully by end of day today, and hopefully by the time you're watching this video, you already have access, so that way you can get started and move ahead to look forward to week 4, maybe get some work out of the way if you had planned on it, and because this week is a little bit lighter. So, I want to also point out excellent work on our notes and self-guided explorations. These are both major grades, major assignments, and part of this course. Definitely, please don't forget to use the templates for your self-guided explorations. I have one kind of little sticking point here. It's a template. I would like you to use it, so I'm not going to put grades in until work is submitted in that format, please. If you have any questions, of course, just please let me know. And in regards to the templates for the notes, if it works better to do a different format for your note taking, fine by me. Just make sure that each section from the notes template is included in whatever adjusted format you come up with that works better for your learning. And I think that takes care of week 2, folks. So we're moving right through into week 3. Like I said, I will try to have week 4 modules open for you ASAP, hopefully by end of day. And in the meantime, reach out if you have questions. Great work so far, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.